We're here in this magnificent view overlooking the Danube River, but even more magnificent is the makom that we're standing on. This is Poinitman, the Ksav Sofer. Ksav Sofer, Avraham, Shmuel, Binyamin, Sofer. He lived from 1815 to 1872, and in the latter part of the 19th century, he was one of the leading Gedolim for Hungarian Jews and for world Jewry. At already 33 years old, he finished his Sefer on Gittin. He only lived 57 years. But his brother testifies about him that if you would see the number of chidushim he has on Shas, on Shalos Tshuvas, and while he was laden with running the yeshiva, he says it's l'mala min hateva. How is it possible for a human being to have accomplished so much? It's begeder. It's together that when somebody is so devoted to Ruchnius, it doesn't take up time, it doesn't take up space. Well, he lived 57 years. He was born on the first day of Adar Beis, and he was nifter the last day of the solar year, December 31st in 1871. Just to mention, at 6 years old, his name was Shmuel Wolf, Shmuel Binyamin. He was called Shmuel Wolf, and he fell ill. The doctors gave up on him. And the family, the Ksav Sofer, added a name. They added the name Avraham. And they already called the Chevra Kadisha. And they already lit the candles. The doctor said there was nothing left they could do. They came to Ksav Sofer. Maybe you could pray, but we're done with whatever we could do. And the Ksav Sofer goes into his corner to pray by his manuscripts. And as he's praying, the little boy cries out, Shema Yisrael, as if it was his last moment. And suddenly, he had a refuah shleima. And they asked Ksav Sofer, what were you mispalel? I was mispalel, he should live another yovel, which he lived exactly 50 years, another 50 years until 57 years old. The Ksav Sofer's tefillah was niskabel. Avraham Shmuel Binyamin Sofer, the Gadol Adar, lived another 50 years. Just want to mention that the Avraham Shmuel Binyamin Sofer said, the Ksav Sofer said, that it is his sole desire to teach Sugyas Hashas to his Talmidim. So even though maybe the greater Olam at large wanted to hear drashas, and to say a drasha, all Rabbanim know you need to speak in the proper intonation, and it has to be calculated, and it has to be prepared, but then it takes away time from learning. But the kavod of the Rabbanis comes from the speaking and the oratory ability. Well, it says the Ksav Sofer, it is my sole desire to teach Talmidim Sugyas Hashas, and I will give up all the kavod of this world to be fully dedicated to learning Shas B'Iyon. It's written about the Ksav Sofer that his derech in learning was to go through the sugya b'pilpul, be'amkus, and to come out aliba dehilchasa, which he said was a much more difficult mahalach than his father, the Ksav Sofer. But he was so immersed and so connected, and so he was doing this mahalach for so many years he couldn't change, and it's almost unimaginable. But they say about the Ksav Sofer that if you were to see him sitting surrounded by his Talmidim learning Be'iyon, Be'pilpula D'Oraisa, anyone who didn't see this never saw Cheshkas HaTorah in their life. This is the Mesiras Nefesh and the dedication of the Ksav Sofer to be Marbitz Torah and to be Mamid Talmidim Harbe, and until this day all of Klal Yisrael basks in the great glory and light of the Ksav Sofer.